Perchance he for whom the spell tolls may be so ill as that he knows not it tolls for him, and perchance I may think myself so much better than I am, as that they who are about me and see my state may have caused it to toll for me, and I know not that. The Church is Catholic, universal, so all her actions, all that she does belongs to all. When she baptizes a child, that not concerns me, but that child is thereby connected to that head, which is my head too, and engrafted into that body whereof I am a member. And when she buries a man, that much concerns me. All mankind is of one volume, is of one author, and is of one volume. When one man dies, one chapter is not torn out of the book, but translated into a better language, and every chapter must be so translated. God employs several translators. Some pieces are translated by age, some by sickness, some by war, some by justice. But God's hand is in every translation, and his hand shall bind up all our scattered leaves again. As therefore the bell that rings for that library where every book shall lie open to one another, calls not, as therefore the bell that rings to a sermon, calls not upon the preacher only, but upon the congregation to come. So this spell calls us all, but how much more me, who am brought so near the door by this sickness. There was a contention as far as it stood, in which piety and dignity, religion and estimation were mingled. Which of the religious orders should ring to prayers first in the morning, and it was determined that they should ring first that rose earliest. If we understand aright the dignity of this bell that tolled for our evening prayer, we would be glad to make it ours by rising early in that application, as it might be ours as well as his, whose indeed it is. The bell doth toll for him who thinks it doth, and though it intermit again, yet from that minute, that occasion he is united to God. Upon him he is united to God. Who cast not his eye to the sun when it rises, but who takes off his hat from a comet, which upon any occasion rings. But who can remove it from that bell, who is passing piece of himself out of this world? No man is an island, it of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a man of their friends or their own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know to whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Neither can we call this a begging of misery, or a boring of misery, as though we are not miserable enough of ourselves, but must fetch in more from the next house in taking upon us the misery of our neighbours. Truly it were inexcusably coveted as if we did, for affliction is a treasure, and scarce any man hath enough of it. No man hath affliction enough who is not matured and ripened by it, and made fit for God by that affliction. If a man carry treasure in bullion or in a wedge of gold, and have none coined into counter monies, his treasure will not defray him as he travels. Tribulation is the treasure of the nature of it, but it is not counter monies in the use of it, as though we get nearer and nearer our home, heaven, by it. Another may be sick too, and sick to death by that affliction. For this affliction is lying in his bowels as gold in a mine, and be of no use to him. But this bell called Saul, this bell tells me of his affliction, digs out and applies that gold to me. If by this consideration of another's danger I take mine own into contemplation, and make my recourse to my God, who is our only security,